Hi folks, welcome back to another video. My name's David, that Norfolk guy in Dubai. In this video we're going to be looking at the best ways in 2026 to move to Dubai. And if you're a UK business owner and you're looking to relocate to Dubai, watch till the end, because this is probably going to save you the thick end of about £30,000. So it's 2026 August and we're looking at ways to move to Dubai. So I'm going to make some assumptions in this video. I'm going to assume that you are actually planning on moving to Dubai. You're going to be relocating over here, and you want to make this the center of your life. So what are the three ways to move to Dubai? Well, the first way is the employment route. You can get a job and move over here. Obviously your employer will sort out your visa, and from there you can look at using salary and bits and pieces for rent or for buying a property. So that's your first route. If you are looking at incorporating a company, this was the route that I went down, and if I had to do it all over again, in all honesty, I absolutely wouldn't do it this way, because there's lots of scams out there in terms of moving to Dubai, in terms of business incorporation packages, and we got sold big time by a company a few years back when looking at incorporating the company route. So that was the route that I went down, and you get your Emirates ID, you get your visa, you get your business license and everything else, which is great until you actually physically move over here, and then you realize the consequences of that business incorporation and of what you then need in terms of buying a property. Because buying a property is the third route when it comes to moving over to Dubai, and hands down the best route to go. Now most people have heard of the golden visa, which you can get if you invest 2 million dirham, which if you divide dirhams by 5, roughly that's pounds, so you're looking at about £400,000 in terms of getting a golden visa. But what they don't tell you when you incorporate that business is that when you're living outside of Dubai as an expat, you can get a mortgage in Dubai with everything that you've already got as a business owner back in the UK. So if, like myself, you've got a stable business back in the UK, you've got business income coming in, you've maybe got other assets with other income coming in, you've maybe got property, you've got other investments, you've got all of that income coming in to your UK banks, which if you go to a lender in Dubai and you arrange a mortgage, you can arrange that mortgage with everything that you've already got. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to go down the route of incorporating that company. Now, the benefit of doing that, to give you an idea, we paid out as a business incorporation package. It was for myself and my business partners. There's about 4 of us in total. It was around £20,000 for the incorporation of the companies and the company setup and whatnot. And then when I moved over here, I looked at what the cost of renting was, and the place that we rent is about £40,000 a year. Yeah, and the business license renewals each year come to a few thousand each year. So by the time we'd put on the cost of renting, the cost of business incorporation, the cost of licenses, the cost of redoing the visas, you know, it really mounts up, yeah, and that thousands and thousands of pounds is just essentially dead money if you're actually planning on moving over here and you're actually planning on buying a property. Because as an expat, you typically have to put down a little bit more as a mortgage deposit, and that will typically be around about 40% as a deposit, yeah. But there are some lenders out there, and I'd always advise you to get advice when it comes to getting a mortgage in Dubai. There's some great brokers out there. I'll leave some links in the video for this if you want to speak to any of the advisors that I've worked with, spoken with and whatnot. I'll leave some links down there. But in terms of the actual lenders themselves, these are some serious financial institutions, and although in the UK you might not have heard of some of the banks, one of them you definitely have heard of, but they are big players in Dubai. So if you want to check this out online, the first one to have a look at is a bank called Emirates NBD or ENBD, Emirates National Bank of Dubai, and they offer expat mortgages. You don't have to live in the UK, as I say, to apply for it. You don't have to live in Dubai, I should say. You know, you can be living in the UK, you can be looking to buy a place over here, and you can apply for a mortgage with everything you've got there. The second one is HSBC, which you will have heard of. Obviously, they are a global bank, and they do offer expat mortgages in Dubai as well. And the final one is a bank called Mashreq Bank. Mashreq, I'm applying for my mortgage through. To give you an idea of the size of Mashreq, it's kind of like Lloyd's, yeah, for those of us from the UK. Big financial institution, been around a long while, and a good range of products. But as I say, that what I came up against with this mortgage application was the stumbling block and the consequences of going down the business incorporation route. Because when I went to apply for this mortgage, they said, how long's your business been running? Okay, less than a year. Right, okay. Right, you need 2 years books as a self-employed person. I was like, right, okay. All right, so how does it work then if I'm employed by this business? Okay, so if you're an employee, you need 6 months of income coming into your personal account to apply for it on a personal basis. Right, okay, so I've got to wait 6 months, yeah? Whereas if I'd have just done it from the beginning, yeah, and applied for an expat mortgage and then moved over here, I could have saved myself all of those months, all of those business incorporation costs. And the other thing is, when I look at what I'm putting down as a deposit for the property, yeah, if I take all of those incorporation costs which we incurred, yeah, to the tune of about 30-odd thousand pounds, well, the rent itself was, my rent was £40,000 plus the business incorporation costs. So in terms of putting down a deposit, yeah, to the tune of about £160,000, yeah, I would have, in the space of 4 years, yeah, I would have recouped that cost anyway. So that was the route I always intended to go down, and for my own personal situation, incorporating a business over here slowed me down. So don't make that mistake. Explore all your options. If you are thinking of moving to Dubai and you want me to make any videos on any topics that you want to know, drop a comment. I'll make the video for you. I say I've lived over here now since 2025, so if you want some just boots on the ground videos, just drop me a comment and I'll look to make them. If you want to use any of the links below, as I say, for any mortgage advice, if you are looking to go down the incorporation route, there's also a link down there as well that you can have a look at that. But thanks guys, see you on the next one. Cheers.